always thought you were supposed to climax each and every time. What do I do?
Well, back in the days when I was studying this, it's about 25 years ago, you remember at the Gathering of the Masters I was speaking about that, how the words that we use in our everyday language reflect what was going on. You could say that somebody is effing stupid. Well, yeah, he is, because that's exactly what he does. He's effed himself stupid. What the loss of the essence is talked about in the Bible, I believe in John, when John is lamenting the fact that I am doing something that I think is right, but I die because of it. They're talking about the sexual act. And that the sexual act is tantamount to quote-unquote sin because it's an action that we do in ignorance.
Right.
And we think we're doing the right thing, but we die as a result of it. Because that's exactly what happens in the relationship of the so-called myth of the loss of or tapping into the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That was the sexual energy. The tree of knowledge of good and evil was the spinal column and the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system dealing with the Ida, the Ida, and the Pingala, and the loss of integrity of the total body and the tearing of the place that you see where the anus meets the perineum into the sexual organ. That area has been separated. The tree of knowledge of good and evil essentially is the spinal column and the tubules as well as the nerves running up the spinal column that deal with the Kundalini life force. And that eating of the tree is sexual energy, sexual intercourse. And anybody who eats of the knowledge of good and evil will surely die, and that's what they're speaking about. So we're never taught in our churches what these particular stories from all these great books really meant. They were all stories about how we have the kingdom of heaven and the kingdom of hell here on earth. So there's when you speak about the young man's ejaculation cycle and the fact that this society promotes as much sex as possible in their sitcoms, is to keep the people stupid, is to keep the people weak. Because the more you hold on to your seed as a male, the more strength you have. It doesn't say that you have to stop having sex. It's the way we have sex. It's the way we approach each other in intimacy. And the fact that we lose our sperm constantly, we lose the ability to think. That's why we can't solve our problems and we need so many experts in our lives. We lose the ability to move forward and change things when we know right from wrong. We see the way the government is behaving against the people of the world as well as its own citizens. But the men are not there enough to say, well, I'm ready to die for a cause anymore. So that's the problem. All of the men, and as you will learn why, and there is a protracted and very insidious plan to maintain men as women, or to make men feel like women so that they are not proactive, that they do not feel the need to change things anymore. So that's when you have a government that is manipulating the food supply, manipulating the way we process poisons in the atmosphere and our water. All of this is subjecting us to a kind of very insidious kind of warfare that is destabilizing our abilities to see right from wrong and then act upon them.
Wow, you know what? In my past studies, I do recall going through countless numbers of scriptures. I believe through some of your references about their lack of control of their sexual nature as well, during the or using these biblical metaphors of scriptures. What kinds of foods or nutritional supplements could you recommend, or do you have available to help us rebuild some of the lost zinc and nutrients that we lose each time we spill our semen?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't want to get to solutions first because we have a tendency to not study the problem at its essential. The problem with us in this society is that everything gets done in a half hour or over a 60-second commercial. And I don't want this to become that. I would like this to maybe, if we can go on to maybe one, I'll give you some ideas. But I would like to study this thing from a level where we begin to deconstruct what we call our matter-of-fact reality, our day-to-day living, and show how we've become hypnotized and how we've become, I guess, indoctrinated into the speculation that we believe is reality today. And to study the overall climate and the overall path of impotence. And I don't mean impotence in just, getting an erection, or impotence in having enough sperm and infertility and so forth. I'm talking about impotence as it factors into how we as men view the world today, how we view our women, how do we view, the problems of government in relationship to us in our lives and what we're doing every day. These things are what actually build a sound relationship, which must come first before a sound sexual relationship.
Right.
Because we usually begin with a sexual relationship and then it degenerates from there after the sex goes down, if it's based on that kind of stuff. So what I would like to talk about, if it's all right with you and your family that is listening in, I'd like to talk about what it is that's causing men to become, say, impotent today, not only physiologically, which we'll begin with, but psychologically.
All right. And Dr. Valentine, let me ask you this real quick, too, or hopefully I can make it clear that me personally, and I know you're going to elaborate much more, we're not advocating abstention as well, because from what I understand, complete abstention from ejaculation is just as harmful as an excessive emission, if I'm correct.
Well, you see, complete abstention while trying to live a mad and crazy life may be because, you see, everything about you is accelerated, including the levels of toxicity. And then sperm is now used as another outlet for toxins, which is just another form of physiological insanity, or is just another kind of pathology. No, that's why the yogis practice the breathing exercises and the things that they do to transform that sperm back into a higher form of plasmic energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the holding of your seed is wrong or is bad. It's what you do with the seed to bring the seed out of that area, what they call Sodom, the Sodom and Gomorrah, down in the area of the testicles of the lower regions. Sodom being the salt and the Gomorrah, all of the lower minerals, and raising those minerals up in the exercise of Kundalini to spark or to change that into what they call the oil that lights the lamp of God that taketh away the sins of the world, as said in the Bible.
Mm.
So, no, it's not that how do you say it, celibacy causes any problems. It's what we do in the celibacy, or our ignorance of what celibacy should truly be, that causes us to go through problems in the testicles and problems in the heart and so forth. So it's not that holding on to your sperm is wrong.
Right.
It's how we hold on to it and what is being done with that power located in that region.
Okay, good. Well, Dr. Valentine, let's go ahead and get into it. I know that I myself, brother, have been for some time now attempting vigorously to practice that Kundalini exercise by bringing that energy through the spine up to the crown chakra. And for me, it's not a 1, 2, 3 process, but it requires, I guess you could say, due diligence.
Yes, it does.
So I'm open ears as well.
Well, there are Kundalini. There are books on Kundalini by a man named Shakti. I forgot his first name, but he is a yogi